Senior National Coordinator of the Counter-Terrorism Policing.
OK, we're going to cross live now to a police press conference in London where statements are expected following the Finsbury Park attack. Listen in.
Seriously injured. The attack unfolded whilst a man was already receiving first aid from public at the scene, and sadly that man has died. Any causative link between his death and the attack will form part of our investigation. It is too early to state if his death was as a result of this attack. Our thoughts are absolutely with all of those affected by the incident at Seven Sisters Road and their family, friends and the wider community. No matter what the motivation for this attack proves to be, we are keeping an open mind. This is being treated as a terrorist attack and the Counter-Terrorism Command is investigating. This was an attack on London and all Londoners, and we should all stand together against extremists, whatever their cause. From 21 minutes past midnight this morning, police received a number of calls to Seven Sisters Road following a van having collided with pedestrians. Officers were in the immediate vicinity at the time, actually as the attack unfolded, and they responded instantly. Additional officers were on scene within 10 minutes. One man, as I've said, was pronounced dead at the scene. 8 others are in hospital, and 2 more were treated at the scene. All the victims were from the Muslim community. I'd like to praise the police officers who immediately responded, who gave life-saving treatment at the scene, but also very much those members of the public who assisted before and after this incident. Also at the scene, detained by members of that community, was the man suspected of being the driver during this attack. He has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. I would like to thank those people who helped police in detaining the man and worked with officers to calmly and quickly get him into our custody. Their restraint in the circumstances is commendable. This investigation is ongoing and we are working fast to know the full details of how and why it took place. At this early stage of the investigation, no other suspects have been identified or reported to police. And there were no reports of any people having suffered any knife injuries. The van used has been examined by specialist officers, but nothing that would cause a risk to the public was found within it. Extra policing resources have been deployed across London in order to reassure communities, especially those observing Ramadan at this very sensitive time. I would urge everyone to remain calm and remain vigilant. I ask the public, with any information about this incident or anything that causes them concern or suspicion, to call the police on 0800 789 321. That's 0800 789 321. Obviously, this is a very early stage of the investigation. However, as and when I can make more information available, I will. This has been an incredibly challenging time for London, and the emergency services are stretched. Nevertheless, we will all do absolutely everything we can with our partners to protect Londoners and our city. Now is a time once again for London to stand together to face those who seek to divide us. Thank you. I can take a couple of questions if that's necessary.
Was this immediately considered a terrorist attack?
Given the methodology and given what was occurring and what's happened, the tragic incidents across the country, this had all the hallmarks of a terrorist incident. That's why the Counter-Terrorism Command were called out to investigate.
Can you also give us a little bit more details on how the suspect was detained by members of the public? What actually happened there?
I think there's been an awful lot of images put out by the media as and when he was detained. It seems to me at the time that he was very quickly and calmly given over to the police and put into custody. I think, as I've said, I think that restraint was commendable by members of the community who must have been incredibly shaken, incredibly scared and incredibly angry. And I'd like to thank them. And what it proves to me is that Londoners will act together to protect themselves, but they will do so in a way that doesn't feed into terrorist and extremist hands.
Can you give us any more detail as well about how serious the injuries are to those in hospital?
No, it's too early to say, and obviously the hospital themselves and NHS England will be updating later on the condition of the casualties. I do know at least 2 are very serious. So again, our thoughts go out to the families and their friends who must be very shaken at this time.
Are police able to talk to the if so, what are you hearing from?
No, that will not have happened yet. That will obviously be a priority in the investigation. As soon as he's in our custody and has been through our formal custody procedures, he will be being interviewed, obviously, as part of the investigation.
We've heard from a couple of eyewitnesses say that they saw other people in the van running away after the attack took place. And you said that there was only one perpetrator so far, that there were reports of others. How do you respond to that? What we're hearing as other people?
Right, let me be very clear at this time. That was obviously a very key line of inquiry for us, right at the start of this investigation. From what we are seeing and from what witnesses who are reporting to us, there was nobody else in the van. And it appears at this time that this attacker attacked alone. That is not to say that we are not investigating the full circumstances of how he came to be where he was. But at this point in time, there was nobody else in the van. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.